Today on How They Make It, dental crowns, ice cubes, and chocolate milk.
In the past, false teeth have been made of bone, ivory, or even teeth from the dead. Today, a replacement tooth is made from non-reactive metal and porcelain that form a crown. A negative impression of the patient's teeth arrive at the lab from a doctor's office. A lab technician mixes water with powdered stone to fill the impression and create a replica of the patient's mouth. The liquid stone is mixed to a uniform thickness in a machine that uses a vacuum. The stone material contains a resin base to make the model stronger and less brittle. Once the stone dries, it is removed from the model and trimmed to a practical size using a grinding wheel. A small bench grinder is then used to remove any excess stone. The technician then uses a laser-guided drill press to make holes for the pins that will support the model. Pins are glued into the bottom surface of the model and sleeves are put on the pins. The pinned models are put into a mold and plasters mixed with water and poured into the mold. The tooth that the crown will fit on is cut from the model using a handsaw. This tooth is called a die trim. Excess stone is removed from the die trim using a high-speed handpiece. The margins are marked, a clear coat of hardener is applied, followed by 3 coats of die spacer. The die spacer leaves room for the doctor to apply glue. The die trim is then dipped in hot wax. The wax captures intricate details and ensures a smooth surface. Excess wax is trimmed, and wax around the margins is smoothed with a waxing tool. To save time, money, and materials, the sprue and wax pattern are mounted on a tree containing many other patterns. A polyvinyl mold is placed around the entire pattern tree. Powdered investment material is mixed with water and carefully poured into the polyvinyl mold. A brush is used to ensure there are no imperfections on the inside surface of the casting. The polyvinyl cylinder allows for expansion of the investment material as it heats during solidification. The cast is placed in a 1500 degree burnout furnace for about 30 minutes to remove the wax from the cast. While the wax is burning out, the centrifugal casting machine is prepared. A crucible with a small hole in one end is placed in the casting machine. The machine is wound up and the appropriate amount of metal is put in the crucible. The oxygen propane torch heats and melts the metal. The typical crown contains a palladium silver tin alloy with small amounts of iridium and zinc. Once the metal has completely melted, the investment casting is removed from the furnace and placed behind the opening in the crucible inside the casting machine. The pin holding machine is released and the centrifugal force pulls the molten metal into the mold cavity. The investment casting is removed from the machine and allowed 2 hours to cool. The mold is broken away and discarded. The metal pattern tree remains. A disc attached to the handpiece is used to cut the tips from the casting. These are called copings. The remaining sprues can be reused in future casting operations. The copings are fitted back onto the die trims and checked for a tight fit. The copings then get an ultrasonic bath to clean and remove any remaining investment material. Next, they go into a porcelain furnace that burns at 1800 degrees to bring any oxides to the surface. The first coat of porcelain, called slurry, is applied to the copings to cover the metal color and aid in the bonding of additional porcelain that will be added. The copings are returned to the furnace for about 10 minutes. The bulk of the porcelain is then applied and shaped using a variety of hand tools. Then, the crown is returned to the porcelain furnace. The crowns are fitted back onto the models and contoured to their final shape using dye paper and grinding wheels. A glaze is applied and they return to the porcelain furnace one final time to achieve a glossy finish. When the finished crowns cool, they are cleaned, packaged, and shipped back to the doctor's office. Now let's get some strippers.